Greetings, family. Empress D, obviously in nature. I hope everybody is getting out in nature. If you live in the Toronto area, oh my gosh, what a glorious day it is today, family. Anyway, I hope everybody is well. Um, it's hard to be well at this time. I recognize it. And that's just our reality. I'm very observant. And I really try to pay attention to my environment and those around me. And I notice that people aren't well, you know? They might not even realize they're not well, but people aren't well. People aren't well. I know that we're all quite aware of all the random violence, weird behavior people are exhibiting, throughout the United States. And even in Canada, I'm sure throughout the world, I've been hearing all these stories, these random stories of people doing heinous crimes to people, like just out of the blue, randomly. Family, I hope you're well. In order to be well in this social construct, you kind of have to, on purpose, be doing things to be well, right? You can't just stumble upon wellness. I think it's an actual deliberate thing you have to go after to be well, especially with everything that's going on around us, family. Yeah, so when I say I hope you're well, every time I say it, I do hope for that, but I know the reality is that a lot of people aren't, right? So I do hope that you're doing things deliberately every day to make yourself well, because you have to. You have to. I wanted to talk today about no attachments. No attachments to outcome. And just allowing things to be. No attachments. I think that's how you live in peace. So I've had to I'm speaking on this because I've had to experience it and go through it. So over the last, I would say 2 years, I've had a lot of loss. Not in terms of people dying. Absolutely not. I fortunately haven't had to experience too much of it, although I have experienced some, as I'm sure a lot of us have. I think it's a thing right now. When I say loss, I mean loss of people, yes, but not in the sense of death, but in the terms of in the sense or in terms of not being in my life anymore. I've had to experience a lot of loss. A lot of loss of people no longer being in my life. I've also had to go through the loss of my career, right? Something that I really had to work hard to obtain, and I enjoyed it. And I thought I was good at it, and I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I thought I was doing what I was intended to do on this planet in my career, right? So I actually love, I think that's part of the challenge is everybody's going to have to work. And that's what I've tried to encourage my offspring to do, is to think about what you could do for free and find how to monetize it, right? And anyway, so I've had to lose my career, right? I've also had to lose a lot of possessions, right? The possessions that you accumulate. Not that possessions are what I aim to accumulate and what I value most. It's just that certain possessions are necessary to function in these societies, right? Like we all have to have a dwelling in which to live in, because without one, the elements can get you, right? It's not ideal to live in North America without a home. A vehicle is something that's quite necessary in this time. So that's what I'm trying to say. I've had to deal with a lot of loss. during these last 2 years. And so, in going through those losses, what I've really learned is to have no attachments. It's such a peaceful way to live, right? And so it's like what Whitney said, no matter what you take from me, you can't take away my dignity. Dignity is something that you have to give to somebody else. You can't, as long as you stay within your principles, you're within your dignity, right? She said, no matter what you take from me, meaning you can take, I guess, all my possessions, you can't take away my dignity, right? And so when you have no attachments to people, places, or things, life is easier. I think it's more peaceful, right? Because guess what? If the things are there, it's absolutely wonderful. But if the things are gone, it's okay as well, right? And that's what I think the definition of non-attachment to things, people, places, and things is, right? Having the ability to be content with or without, right? And so, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to share today. Just, I think the goal is to not be attached to anything, right? And I hope that people don't interpret that as coldness, because that's not it at all. It's being at peace whether something is there or whether it isn't, right? Anyway, family, I think that's all I want to share today. I thank you for taking the time to listen. I love and I value each and every one of you, and I really hope that you are loving yourself enough to doing things daily for yourself. Okay, family? Thank you. I love you. Sorry. Take good care. One love.